Let's get on to some nerdy news.
Yes. Still quite a bit
Right,
happened, even though it's only been a few days.
yeah. At the top here, How to Train Your Dragon's
Mm,
live action trailer is here. I don't have too much to say about the trailer, but I have seen a valid concern slash criticism of the project as a whole that I thought would be interesting to talk about.
okay.
The trailer has a lot of shots that are like one-to-one rips from the animated film.
Yes.
Is this another project that is once again kind of drilling home to the audience? We don't value animation as much as we do live action. Because if you're not going to do things in your own way and tell a unique perspective, what's the point? And the other criticism is a lot of the trailers like pretty washed out, not visually interesting, whereas the animated film is gorgeous. So people are like, what's the point if it's not even as pretty as the original? You've made an uglier, more expensive version.
I think, I mean, washed out, they can tweak that in more post editing to make it colors and stuff look better. But my thing has always been like when they do these live action remakes, and like you're saying, people have noticed these are shot for shots in places. It's less that they don't care about animation, it's they're too lazy to come up with a new IP. Like with Lion King, they just remade the same story, but in this weird, realistic CGI. They've done it
They
with a bunch of the
them
Disney
calling
films
that
now.
live action, despite the entire thing being CGI, will never not bug me.
It's live action because we use live action shots of the Sahara Desert, but then CGI'd on top of it. Uh,
Every single animal in the entire thing is CGI. It's like it's
it's
just not live action, then,
it
is it?
just sings more to me of that. It's like, oh, we need to put a film out because we haven't done one in a while. We already have this story that people love. Why don't we just redo it in live action? We don't have to think about the script because we've already got it. We just tweak it
Yeah.
slightly. And it's probably a bit cheaper to make, but maybe not. Like, it's more,
The
to me, it's
quality of
just,
CGI on Toothless makes me think this will not have been cheap.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, they put the money into it. It's like, I think it's purely just they execs are too they don't want to risk a new IP or new story. They're like, oh, we can just remake this animated story in live action because it's there. People like the story, but then it just comes across to us like you say, we're just gonna watch and be like, this is just the same thing, but like I prefer it in animated. Like, why are we getting it?
And here's the thing: they are all valid criticisms, and I do get why people feel that way. Counterpoint:
Hmm.
seeing Toothless in a more realistic form did make my heart go, "Oh, look at Toothless," and I do want to go see the film.
I like I
I see value in it, but I would have liked them to go, let's make something bold and daring as a new adaptation of this IP rather than let's make the animated film live
yeah
action.
yeah
I
it's
think that's where the big sticking point for me is.
yeah it's this constant just repeating the same story but live action just
I would have
screams
rather they go
lazy.
like Jurassic Park on it and try and actually breed a dragon.
Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic Park film is just them trying to breed Toothless.
Yeah. And you know what? If they're successful, I will put a deposit down for a baby Toothless because he's so cute. Um, it's a great like IP. Like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Toothless is one of like the best like child friendly but also like all ages friendly characters of all time because he is so like dog coded. Everyone can
Mm,
project their favorite childhood pet onto him,
yeah.
and I'm just like I want the film to be good, but I do understand the criticisms.
Yeah.
A little bit of an update about the Marvel Zombies animated TV show that's due late
Mm,
next year. It looks like all of the characters will be voiced by their live action MCU counterparts. So Amon Delaney's back, David Harbour's back, people like that. So it was always rumored that that's what they wanted to do with these projects, but on a number of
mm,
occasions that's not been the case, especially with some of your more A-list Avengers like Chris Evans and Tony Stark, sorry, and
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and stuff like that. I think with DC making a big part of their relaunch, everyone will
Yeah.
play their character in every medium. I think that might put a bit more pressure on Marvel to try and do the same.
It'd be interesting to see if, depending on the future of What If, like where we said we'd love if they do a Visions style, if they would still do the same voice actors for stuff like that.
Yes,
I
I
hope
agree.
so.
Right, this is just going to be a quick one because it infuriated me.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola Christmas ad has for a long part of my
Fucking
life actually been one of the
off.
few ads I don't mind because it makes it feel like Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah, it's just...
Like let's remember, Coca-Cola's Christmas advertising is so historically important. It changed the color of Father Christmas to
yeah,
red.
yeah.
So imagine my disgust when I'm watching the TV on Sunday and the new Coca-Cola Christmas advert comes on. And I'm like, oh, it's a new Coca-Cola Christmas advert. And I shit you not, my tweet about this was not hyperbole. In 0.5 seconds, I went, something's not right here. And then I went, this is AI. This is AI generated. I could see it instantly. And that is not the issue with AI. It's obvious there are more issues with that. But it also shows it's not in producing the quality to make the damage worth it. Anyway, so I spotted straight away. I'm like, this isn't right. I think this is AI. And then near the end of the advert, at the bottom left, it pops up saying it's made with real magic AI. Why? Because here's the fucking problem. As it stands right now, AI is dog shit. Cool. That is actually not the biggest problem with AI. The biggest problem is it's putting people out of work. It's horrific for the environment, and they're doing this whole this was made by AI. But anyone who's used even a little bit of AI or understands a little bit of AI knows that once they've generated that, they had to do so many quick cuts in that because it will have gone to shit straight after it. And it probably all had to be gone over by an animator afterwards anyway to make sure the branding stayed consistent. So
Yeah.
what's the point? Then Christmas Coca-Cola. Well, I hate advertising in general. I get it's a necessary evil, but I don't like it. The Christmas Coca-Cola advert has always been one that I've been more happy about because it signifies Christmas is coming. And me and my mum used to get excited for like the Christmas Coca-Cola van that would go around to different shops. And I was like, oh yeah, that's sick because we had a supermarket close enough to us that it would normally be on like the route. They'd be like, oh, Christmas Coca-Cola, like that was cool. And now I'm just like, I want Coca-Cola to burn and die. I'm a Pepsi Max fan. I have been for fucking years. Now I don't even see any value in Coca-Cola as a brand.
I saw it on Twitter straight away before you'd seen it on TV. Like, it's like obviously they moved to doing CGI a few years back, which made sense. You can't. I get them not wanting to have an actual truck and film it. Like the cost for that, I get it. But yeah, the AI just like it instantly stank of AI. Like you say, each clip's very short. It has that weird AI video look to it where everything's sort of like floaty
And
and
really flat and just,
weirdly
it doesn't have any
moving.
depth.
And
Yeah.
like, I was fully expecting to see the miss a point where like the Coca-Cola brand like text starts swirling or something or going fucked up.
And that's how you know an animator had to go back over it anyway, because there is no way the Coca-Cola branding would have stayed that solid throughout a fully AI generated thing.
The thing is, I know at the moment it's tough with the brands because at the moment you know whatever marketing firm they use that helps them with their ads things will have gone like, oh, AI is this new thing. It'll only cost you this much and we'll produce, and like they've made something and some execs have gone, cool, it's the brand new thing, like, oh, surely we're on trend here. And then it's like, it's just not gonna sell. And I think the tell will be in another 12 months time, if their advert next year is AI again, then they really don't care anymore. And you're gonna have brands that held a lot of brand weight and had lots of fans of that brand will stop caring because they lose that human connection.
It just reeks of people not wanting to miss out on the new big thing, which they think is AI. But forgetting even that, it's scary for talented people who are now having to compete with something that will do it for a fraction of the cost. But it's not actually a fraction of the cost because it is already having a negative impact on the environment.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing: it's like some studio will have sold them on this idea, some marketing studio. They're still like they're getting paid. They're still making their bag. Might have been a bit easier for them to do it, but the outcome of it is it's an ad that everyone hates. It damages the Coca-Cola brand. Whether you like say what you want, but it will damage their brand, whether it's a large amount or not. And then, like you say, there's all the side effects of AI in general. So, yeah,
Make actual adverts.
I'm not shocked. The world's going to hell if John Lewis's Christmas advert this year is AI.
Yeah,
because as a British standard of Christmas advert is the John Lewis advert. And if they change that and do some AI with that, then the world's over. We're dead.
It's just one of them things where no one likes adverts. Not a single person has ever gone, oh God, I wish the show would finish so I could watch more adverts. So at least have the fucking respect of your consumer to make an advert and pay people and artists and animators to make it. Not just try and do it cheap and cheerful by trying to use AI and put people out of work. Scum. People have finally caught up with me and Horry, what we've been saying for 6 weeks. So last week during the Penguin finale review, I was losing my mind that I'm still not seeing anyone on the internet talk about how Julian Rush is clearly Scarecrow related or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, we finished recording that the entire weekend. All I saw on my Twitter feed was people discussing this.
Yes.
Upon rewatching, people think they've spotted Scarecrow Easter eggs in the Penguin, most notably episode 4 or 5, I believe it was, where you can see in Dr. Julian Rush's office what looks like a mask on his desk and like a needly hand, similar to what Scarecrow has in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I bet he's going to experiment with bliss and make the fear toxin. And I'm literally sat here as I'm reading this, feeling like I'm being gaslit. And I know this podcast isn't massive and it's not like everyone on Twitter has seen it. I know that's not the case. But I'm just like, we've been saying this!
I mean, part of me was like, fuck, we missed those.
Yeah, I can't believe we missed them. Because when I've seen the stills, they are so obvious.
But it's one of those where like we're so focused. And this was early of us trying to figure out who this... So we weren't locked in on like anything... trying to spot everything Scarecrow-esque. But like, seeing everyone discuss this and being like, yep, we fucking said this for a while now. I've seen some people suggest that originally he was going to be more named as...
So apparently there were some rumours that initially he was cast just as Dr. Jonathan Crane.
Yeah.
And then the character's name got changed and people didn't know if that was because they decided to get away from the Scarecrow thing, which is why them things could still be there in the shot. It might have been a case of, oh, we want to have a little nod to the fact he was almost Jonathan Crane.
Yeah.
Or if they were just like, actually, let's fuck with him a little bit and just call him something else.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll wait and see, but we were saying it for all the way through that series.
The moment of vindication was enjoyable. Whether we're right or wrong, knowing that other people now think what we were screaming about, I'm just like, okay, we're not crazy. That it does make sense for him to potentially be Scarecrow. Yeah, that was a fun one. There's been an update to Disney's film listings. The December 2026 slot, which was initially reported to be a Star Wars film, is now not happening. We don't know if it's been replaced or cancelled. I've seen some people suggesting that's now when Ice Age 6 will be coming out, but I don't know if that's been confirmed. Again, don't know if that Star Wars film's just been pushed back or if it's been scrapped altogether. We've seen this happen with Star Wars films for about 4 years now, where they get given a date but no title, and then they just disappear.
So,
like, do we even know if Taika Waititi's still working on his Star Wars film, or has that just died?
Don't know. We know next year the Mando films... Not next year, sorry. 2026, the Mando film is coming out.
Yes,
that's
the only one we're even remotely confident on actually getting.
I think the early prediction was this was going to be that standalone Rey film that they'd announced that was going to be like, oh, what's Rey up to now? I wonder if this has got kind of temporarily pushed back because of all this other stuff we've heard about Star Wars of they don't know what to do with the future, and that idea of it was just going to be one Rey film got turned into, do we do a trilogy? Now they don't know. And there's this, they haven't settled on what is next, and they don't want to bring out a solo Rey film and then do a trilogy of Rey films. That's my only guess with it.
Star Wars on the film side has never felt so directionless.
Oh, it's
Like, I can imagine there are 30 people sat in a meeting room for 8 hours a day, every single day, trying to work out what to do, and they just can't. It's one of the ones where, like, they almost need to do something crazy and radical just to stop themselves being stagnated now. Because, like I said, other than the Mando film, I genuinely would not be surprised if we don't get another Star Wars film this decade. With the way it's going at the minute.
I'd like to think we'll still get the Dawn of the Jedi one, but I fear that's also in danger.
Yeah, but...
Do you know what they should do? Should just give us a Starkiller film and just be like, yeah, by the way, this guy was here all the time. Darth Vader had a secret.
Do you know what I genuinely think they should? Although the Starkiller film would, like, shut fans up a little bit and actually let it get made. I think they should make, like, a super low budget by Star Wars standards films. That's like, it's Star Wars, it will make this budget back just because it's Star Wars. Like, low amount of money. Just to get a film out. Because, you know, like, I know you're not as big a sports dude, but you've heard of, like, the yips. Where, like, a guy practices something so much they, like, can't do it properly anymore. Quite famous in darts and stuff where they can't let go of the dart. It feels like that's what they're like with films at the minute. It genuinely feels like they've got a million ideas, but they just can't pull the trigger and complete one for whatever reason. I genuinely think they need to just go, right, weird, eccentric director-writer person, like a Taika Waititi, ironically. Here is $50 million, which, just because it's called Star Wars, we will make back. Go make a Star Wars film. No holds barred, do whatever the fuck you want. If it doesn't fit in canon, we'll just call it a Legends story. Who gives a shit? Just to get something out there.
I think that's another thing. I think they could benefit from just having a classification for show, animated, or film that is Star Wars Legends.
Yeah.
And that way, if they're like, we want to try this, but we're not sure if fans will like it, we'll just say it's the Legends. And if it actually does well and we want to keep it as canon later, we just retcon it and say it was canon all along. I mean, I'm always of the fact of I'd love a Sith-focused Star Wars universe. If they just went, fuck it, we're completely changing the page on the films, we're going back to when the Sith were, and we're just starting like a whole new... That's what I want. But I think they're in this struggle of, do we start something new? Do we try and continue the Skywalker saga on into Rey and whatever the future of that is?
Yeah.
There's too many people have too many opinions, I'm guessing. And, yeah, who fucking knows?
It's just mess. And I don't know, it's my opinion of, even if it's not perfect, just release something, coming too much as someone who's grown up watching YouTube and stuff, where content creators are just like, when I'm struggling, I just get something out because then I'm still in that mindset of making stuff. Or do you agree that them greenlighting like a smaller, almost indie caliber project just to get something out to the fans might actually grease the wheels of productivity again?
It depends. It have to be really well marketed as like, this isn't... They've given the IP to like a small studio to have a shot at doing their own. Like, otherwise you'll get people
just
going,
give up the
this
films
doesn't...
altogether and just go all in on TV?
No,
Which would be heartbreaking.
I don't think they should, but yeah, I really don't know. They need to get their shit together.
Yeah. I will never forgive people who made it so that the Star Wars people can't make a fucking decision about what film to make. This is potentially very sad news, but we don't know for sure. James Gunn is not going to be CCXP, which is a Comic-Con adjacent event, which runs from December 5th to 8th. This has now casted doubt over whether we are going to get the Superman trailer on the long-rumoured December 6th, which would have been in the middle of that event that he was supposed to be going to, but has had to cancel because of other commitments.
I still think we're getting the Superman trailer at the Super Bowl.
So here's my thing. Either we're not the first trailer we're getting is not waiting until February at this point. I will steal it myself. I will go national treasure on that footage's arse and steal it for the world. And if that's my legacy, so be it.
I mean, we might get a teaser before then, but like
A teaser's all I want. I just want something that confirms the vibe to me.
maybe a Christmas around
Imagine.
Christmas. On Christmas Day, they drop a teaser for Superman.
Imagine. Because you know what I'm like. I know I've been overhyping it, and there's no way this trailer can possibly live up to the expectations I've built up in my head of it, like solving the world. But imagine if it does solve the world and he released it on Christmas Day. Would that not be fucking lit?
Just a teaser of Crypto opening a box and it's got a bone in it.
So that no, because that would confirm the vibe to me, and I would get more excited.
I mean, I still think full trailer is Super Bowl. Just in my head, that makes the most sense. We get a teaser, whether they get a teaser at the CCXP, I don't know. Maybe. You didn't need to be there for a teaser. We've said that before.
Like, yes, but being co-CEO and this being his film that he's made and it being the start of the big screen DCU, I can't imagine they're going to release the trailer at an event without him.
What if this is a lie?
No, you do not lie that you're not going to be in attendance at something that might affect ticket sales. That's a really good way to piss a lot of people off.
Okay, what if he just shows up and he's like, well, I managed to make it, but here's a teaser.
As long as it's not like a last minute, like he knew a week before and didn't say anything, that's fine. If it's just genuinely a case of, oh, that other thing I had to do fell through, so I can now make it, like a day before, fair enough.
I think they should just, he's not there and then he just rocks up on stage.
Yeah, so there's no confirmation about whether this has affected the panel he was supposed to be a part of. So there is a chance that someone else, but I just need something. Right, thoughts on this? Because people have had some opinions.
Okay.
In an interview with Collider, Eric Kripke says, I live in absolute terror of The Boys becoming the thing we've been satirizing for 5 years. The thing about The Boys is it's punk rock, and it hurts extra hard when punk rockers sell out. I'm really working hard not to sell out. With, as anyone with a brain can tell, the big criticism to this being, your show is on Prime Video. You've made one spin-off already with another in the works. And
2 in the works.
Yeah, and you sold the character rights to video games like Mortal Kombat.
I get his perspective and where he's coming from, because he doesn't quite think he's thinking about the level of what The Boys is, with like all like full on MCU level of that many films, that many shows. Yeah. But like you say, they've already done one spin-off. This about to get its 2nd season soon. And they've got 2 in the works that one is a prequel series, one is a completely different series called The Boys Mexico. Like, he's already on the edge of doing this.
Yes.
He's literally, all he's missing is having films. And yeah, I get from his perspective, he might not see that he's that far yet. But a bit of kind of
do you know what it feels like? Do you know what it feels like to me? And this is going to piss some people off if this clip goes viral. Ooh. Oasis got big by being the working man making music. Not just Oasis, lots of bands, lots of people. And what I've noticed with music is a lot of people who come from working backgrounds, and that's where like the beauty of their music comes from. Once they're successful, their music isn't as good because they're not poor anymore. So they don't know the pain anymore. And then once they get a little bit further away from that, they've been successful for 5, 6, 7 years. They're so far removed from being an actual normal person, they can't remember how to write about a normal person. That's kind of how I feel about Oasis. Their early stuff is phenomenal. It captures the essence of a lower working class British person. Do I think if they were to make new music now when they've been multi-millionaires for 20 years, that they would be able to capture the essence of a modern working person? Absolutely the fuck not. They've never been a modern working person. I feel the same about this. When the boys started, yes, it was ripping the shit out of. But at a certain point, they've stopped just making a joke whenever they get the chance. And they're like, oh, we've got to take ourselves... Don't get me wrong, they've not quite gone too far, but we've got to take ourselves a bit more seriously here because we're trying to tell a story. And as a result, I don't think you can call yourself punk rock when your show is being funded by the biggest conglomerate in the world at this point, or one of the biggest conglomerates, and you're getting spin-offs, and you're selling your IP rights off to video games because you're so popular. You're not a satire at that point. And I don't want to be the person who's like, oh, you can only be a true artist if you're suffering. But you can only do this kind of art if you can actually relate to the person you're making it for, and I don't think they can anymore. Doesn't mean the show's not good. That does not mean the show is not good, but I don't think they can actually, in good faith, call themselves punk rockers anymore.
It's because like you've also got to look at like punk rockers were on labels and they took the piss out of being on label. Like there was obviously some weren't, but there's some punk rockers out there that were on a label but said fuck you to the label and did their own thing. They were still punk rock. I think being on Amazon, it's fine because they've been poking fun at that sort of conglomerate thing. The thing that's crossing the line now is they've poked fun at the MCU, and they are literally like one movie away from being the start of an MCU. Like they are one film away from being the boys' universe.
Yeah, I mean, are they not already there? They're going back to do prequels to better explain the universe, for fuck's sake.
I would say one, at the moment, with what's released, one spin-off show, like, just being TV, it's when they get into, like, oh, now we're comics turned into TV and film. And if it's all very obviously connected, like, if these two spin-offs, obviously we know the prequel one is, but the Mexican Boys, we don't know how that, if that's very obviously tied in, then yeah. We're literally like one film away from this just being the BU.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now you've kind of flown too close to the sun.
Yeah, you've sold out.
But
it's rough. Yeah. But I just thought it was an interesting one to discuss because
the
self-awareness gives me hope. But you can be self-aware without realizing you've already gone over the edge.
It's also... It's fine, Eric. He can feel that way, but there's so many moving parts. It can be sometimes out of his control to even stop being like he's not wrong for feeling that way and expressing that. It's not necessarily his fault that they've got this far. Like at some point, you lose control of steering the ship.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, you're enjoying this next one, I bet.
So, Red 1.
Yeah. New Christmas film?
The most straight to Netflix looking ass film what I've ever seen.
By your favourite actor, isn't it?
Yeah, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Chris Evans as unlikely duo who team up to try and save Santa Claus, who is played by J. Jonah Jameson. Or Omni-Man,
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Christ.
Yeah.
Here is my issue with this film, and I want
Well,
to be very
you're
clear
missing
about
the
what my
point
issue
of
is.
like, this is action. Muscle Man saves Christmas.
I don't even have a problem with the concept, to be honest. I'm gonna mock it, but I don't even have an issue with the concept. My issue is no film should cost $250 million to make. And
Well,
it
half of
sure as
that's The Rock's
shit,
paycheck.
and it sure as shit shouldn't cost that much to make a Christmas film. Because Christmas films are only going to be watched for maybe 45 days out of the year if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
And only the bangers get rewatched.
Yes. Let's be honest. The Rock, I know, works incredibly hard along with his steroids. He's not exactly going to be making a film that's going to rival It's a Wonderful Life, even on his best day.
Well, let's just look at it this way. As you said, there's at most 45 days in a year where you watch Christmas films. Let's be honest, anything released in the last 5 years is unlikely to make the top 10 of that your Christmas watch list. We're all rewatching Home Alones all the way through to the third one.
Grinch, Die Hard,
Elf.
Never seen it. But it is one of the films that is most rewatched. Yes, it's completely valid. I have no issue with them making more Christmas films. I actually implore people to keep making Christmas films because it is important. And I want to make this abundantly clear. It's nothing to do with my personal feelings about Dwayne Johnson or any of that. That just makes it funnier. No Christmas film should be costing $250 million to make. Oppenheimer cost $100 million, and that is genuinely one of the greatest films ever made.
You're not wrong.
Like,
I do have a problem with this film's premise though, because it's not a good Christmas film. It is just
the concept is piss poor, but there is a world where this exact same script gets made on a smaller budget with better actors and works.
Maybe, but yeah, maybe. But the thing is, this is just The Rock playing his usual action man,
dude. Yeah,
but it's set in December, and this time instead of saving some city, he's saving Santa.
Christmas.
Like it's just so stereotypical. Like it's like every other Rock film that's been out in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But this one's set at Christmas time.
And it's expected to make $30 million.
It's deserved.
And then we're going to sit here and go, why aren't they making more films like The Wild Robot, which only cost $70 million to make? And is genuinely one of the most beautiful films I've ever watched.
Here's the thing.
Like, there is enough money to make good films.
What's the Netflix Christmas? The Christmas Chronicles. There's 2 of them that Netflix has made. They're actually a very decent Christmas film. I have enjoyed them. They're probably one of the few in the last few years that I have thought have been a good job. That and the animated one called Klaus. I would say in the last 5 years, I think they've all come out, and they've actually been solid Christmas films that would rewatch.
Yeah, it's just
The Rock is shit compared to them. From just watching it, like the trailer of it, like
it's just terrible. And I just wanted to add it on here because
it's The Rock bombing again.
I don't want to hear we don't have enough money to make unique and new and exciting films when you're going to hand The Rock a check for $250 million to make a piece of shit film like this. Don't care. It is that simple.
Yeah.
But we could get 2.5 Oppenheimers for this money.
It's just The Rock.
In a recent interview about DCU stuff, James Gunn has been discussing some things like Peacemaker Season 2.
I saw about this.
And things of the such. And one thing that came up was canon in the DCU. And he very bluntly kind of said what me and you have kind of assumed. And it's like, unless explicitly stated otherwise, unless explicitly stated that it is, it's not canon.
Yeah.
So, Peacemaker Season 1 is basically all canon, apart from the Justice League, which he seems, the way he kind of said it in the interview, it seems like he's already worked out how he's going to deal with that.
Yeah, he made out that in season 2 they're going to address that.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a
And
dream
it's
or
like
something.
his Suicide Squad is canon and things and such like, but he's kind of like, unless it's stated as canon, assume it isn't, and
Yeah.
that'll make your life a lot easier.
Basically, if it's not mentioned in any of the shows or films, it's not canon. Like
Yeah,
if the characters themselves don't mention about it, just presume it's not canon.
Yeah. This universe is very similar, so similar we don't need to remake Peacemaker season 1, but there are going to be a couple of differences. Think of it like that.
It's also, we've said that there's very few things that were going to hit this era, which was Peacemaker season 1, his Suicide Squad, Blue Beetle, but we know he said that is the first DCU character, but not necessarily project.
Yeah.
I
so
think
the actor is staying on as Blue Beetle and is working on a project where he's voicing Blue Beetle right now. We just don't know how much of that film is going to be canon. Again, I'm going to treat it like Peacemaker season 1, Suicide Squad. Unless told otherwise, I'm going to assume it's not canon, but bits of it will be canon.
Yeah. So I think we'll be fine. And let's be honest, once the DCU's in full swing and it's all new characters and fresh look and stuff and people are enjoying it because it's actually going to be good, people will forget what the fuck came before.
Exactly. But it's a valid kind of concern to have when the DCU's been cooking for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get close to stuff releasing, which kind of like, okay, so what do we already know? What's actually happened in this world?
I mean, Peacemaker was probably the most difficult overlap one.
Yes.
Because it being a TV show, it's like, okay, season 1, you can't just write all that off. But they've obviously got a plan for it, so
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be fine.
And we've got our first full-length Minecraft teaser. Trailer, sorry, not teaser.
Here's the thing. I would say they've done a better job than the teaser at selling the vibe.
I think that's fair.
I still stand by what I said after the teaser, which is I have nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong with the art style that they went for the Minecraft world. This like somewhat hyper realistic CGI. I think it works fine. It should have been animated. The people that went into the world should have turned into animated Minecraft characters, not being live action actors in a green screen. Like, I know they've built sets and they've tried to do a lot of practical, but
it's very much a hybrid film, isn't it? They've done whatever they can practically, and then they CG'd the rest.
Means that it sits in this weird uncanny valley thing of real people in this hyper realistic Minecraft, which already looks different to the games, but would have looked fine if it was all like that. But now we've got a weird mix. I
really wish it had just been all animated. I would have preferred they changed the art style as well, but I could have made my peace with the art style if it had been all for one.
Yeah.
My issue is, as we've discussed with video game IPs in the past, you need to have enough game references so that the diehard fans of the game are like, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot live and die by them references because then you're going to alienate anyone who hasn't played the game.
Yeah.
Based on this trailer, I think they are going to alienate people who haven't played a fuck ton of the game. Now, granted, in the modern day, I don't know how many people haven't played a fuck ton of Minecraft anymore. But still, you get the idea. I think the trailer feels like they're spending too much time going, hey, Minecraft, you know, you make the things and you can do whatever you want. And look, villagers, and not enough, this is what's happening.
Do you know what I think? They've picked, it's almost like they want to appeal to both more of a teenage young adult audience that will know Minecraft, but also just appease kids by not having to put too much Like kids will just say and be like, "Oh, it's Minecraft. It's the game I play." Not, yeah,
Minecraft.
that it's as simple as that. They don't really care what the story or whatever. They're like, "Oh, cool, Minecraft film." Whereas we're like, okay, you kind of got the Minecraft vibe right, but then what the fuck are we doing with these real like? It just feels off.
I just don't understand how you can make a game about a sandbox world and not come up with a story. Because realistically, they could tell any story they want in the Minecraft world, because guess what? It's a fucking sandbox world. They could literally have made up any crap they wanted and just put it in the Minecraft universe. And we couldn't have sat there and gone, well, that makes no sense. Because it's a sandbox world. And instead, they've just gone, oh, nothing really happens, so we have to be very careful here. And I think I don't know. I mean, I don't think this film, like, based on that trailer, I do genuinely think this film is aimed more at people like 10 to 12-year-olds. But bearing in mind the people our age and the people who grew up with Alpha Minecraft or when it first came out, I thought there might be a bit more aimed at us.
I think the issue is it's like we said after the teaser, they've done Jumanji meets Minecraft, but then also blended the live action with animated, whereas like Jumanji is still it's all just live action.
Exactly.
They've tried to blend two different things into what it just seems like it doesn't know what it's supposed to be.
I couldn't agree more.
Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe it will be
Maybe
really
they've
funny.
hidden everything good for the actual film.
We both did laugh at the trailer line of, I presume this was the same line you laughed at, but the children yearn for the mines.
Yes.
As a child, I yearned for the mines, and I was like,
I open up the trailer ready to hate watch it, and I don't like admitting that because I try and be so open-minded. Stuff I'm skeptical of, and literally I'm sat and I'm ready to hate watch it, and then I hear fucking Jack Black go, "As a child, I yearned for the mines," and I cracked up. I had to restart the fucking thing. I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" But no, that was very funny.
yeah.
And that's why I have some hope. It might find its way into that sweet spot of bad film, but there's value in it as a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And maybe that's not a bad thing.